We talk a lot about viruses, bacteria, fungi, microorganisms, and it's useful to know what we're talking about. What are they? Well, obviously, microorganisms mean that they are organisms and that they are microscopic, they are invisible, they cannot move of their own, they move with the environment, wind, sea currents, and even global air currents. Move them from continent to continent. It takes a few weeks to go from one continent to the other, and they grow and increase in number when the going's good, and they decrease in number when the environment does not favor them. Some of them become spores, which are like seeds that will last for millennia, I think, in the right condition. So there are billions of them, but let me start with the ones we hear about the most and know least about, and that is the virome, the viruses in our atmosphere, water, bodies. They are almost like crystals. They do not live, and they can only multiply and really live within a cell, a living cell, a cell of a mammal, a human being, and they, it seems, need certain parts of a cell to multiply and replicate, especially the RNA and the DNA, the footprint. And they are in 1 teaspoon of pig swill. Pigs that have been put into a pig farm, their waste product is toxic. It's so full of viruses and other things, antibiotics that have been injected into the pigs for growth and for dealing with the diseases that come. A teaspoon of pig swill, it is estimated, contains about 1 times 10 to the 15 viruses. That's 1 with 15 zeros, millions of billions in just a little teaspoon. So they are tiny, they can live within a bacteria. Bacteria, single-cell bacteria, tend to be a little bit bigger, but also microscopic. We cannot see them with the naked eye, and we need a microscope. Fungi are very huge range. The fungi we know mostly are called yeasts, and they cause wine to make wine. I mean, grape juice to become wine, bread in its natural bread, if you bake it, to rise. They multiply in the right temperature. So viruses, tiny, very difficult to analyze, to put into a lab. Bacteria, much easier, they're larger. They will grow on surfaces. For example, when I was at university, we had a petri dish which we would just put out and would have an agar solution, which is very nutritious, and the bacteria would fall on it. These single cell things, and within half an hour we would close it up. We'd still see nothing, obviously, and we put them in a warm place, and after a week or two we'd go and look, and my word, there was a colony of different colors. People even talk about bacteria art or fungi art because of these wheels of where one little spore germinates and grows. Bacteria can survive on a surface where there's food, a dead carcass. They are important for that. Fungi, and especially the single cell ones like yeasts, are so important for our lives. And then we also get parasites, and parasites tend to be a little bit bigger. Many of them are microscopic. They live off a host. Those millions and billions of types of microorganisms, if they are disease-causing, we call them pathogens, pathogenic. But there's so few that are pathogens, and if we know how to manage and work with nature, we've survived with them. Like a parasite, they do not kill the host. If they killed the subsurface that they lived on, viruses, if they were so successful that they killed them, they'd kill themselves. So, very specific and an amazing truth, which I'll tell you more about. But the microbiome, which is a collection of these things together, are really part of us, and we live with them.